सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। The word Rama has 3 letters in that. There are 3 aksharas in that. There is a Rakara, Akara and Makara. These are the 3 letters. Ra, A, Ma. These are the 3 words, 3 letters we have. This Rakara refers to fire. In Sanskrit, every letter has a reference, not a word. Even a letter has a reference there. The letter Rakara has the reference of fire. Akara has a reference of sun. And Makara has a reference of moon. So Rama literally means fire, sun, moon. All forms of light possibilities that we know of. In those days, of course, electricity and all were not there. Meaning fire is in a way we can say fire is also a sort of a representation of electricity, bulb and all that. It was created. Fire represents a created light. Then moon represents indirect light. Sun represents direct light. So there are 3 types of light, and all 3 put together becomes Rama. So that's why he is a delight, we say. Rama is a delight. And light represents knowledge. Light is a representation of understanding, wisdom. You see, so Rama, who is a representation of light, we study what sort of his character is teaching us. What is his message to humanity? The path that is followed by Rama, that is called Ramayana. Rama plus Ayana is Ramayana. Ayana means path. So what is the path of Rama? The path taken by Rama is only one path. Right through his life, he has been following, he has been asking only one question, and answer to that question is his life. Right through he asks only what is dharma, what is the right thing to be done. Given a situation, every situation that he had encountered, he asks this question and proceeds from there. Whatever be the scenario. Now our problem is, we study Rama after knowing the end. See, after knowing what has happened, we study. 1. 2. We study Rama from a totally different time period. So our situation, our culture, our values, everything is different today. So from today's yardsticks and standards, if you are going to be studying what Rama did about 8,000 years back. Will not make any sense. You see, like there is a group of people who say the subsidies given by the government is wrong. It's a very wrong thing to be giving subsidies. It is wrong thing that the government has been starting this public sector units. So what has to be done now? Do away with all subsidies and get out of this, public sector units. Sell them off. Which looks correct for us today. There was a time once we said India's problem is population. Today we are saying what? See, today we are saying this is the human strength, human capital, which is not there in many countries. Many countries are giving you start a business, they say what? We will give you citizenship. You can buy citizenship now. I can just sell my house and get a citizenship in a country. Nothing we have to do. Simply go there and enjoy. And then they say what? You produce children. As you get more the numbers, you will be given more and more benefits. Some countries even go to the extent of saying, we will give you more money. You will be paid to breed. Now the standards will vary. And at any point of time when we study, we will study always looking at what? We will study always looking at our current scenario. You see, we will look at it from current situation. Today, lot of criticism is there against Nehru for not accepting. When this United Nations, they had this permanent seat. He didn't take it. Because he didn't take it, and he not only he didn't take, he recommended China. And today we are having fight with China. Imagine China were to have reacted very differently. Imagine China were to say that no. Better than China is India. If we have to be taken in, then India also should have been. Along with India, we will come. Or else, we are also not coming. If China would have said that, then what we would have done with reference to Nehru? All of us would have been saying what? Wow, what a great man he is. Nehru. That is diplomacy. Why? We decide everything in life based on the success, the palatability of the effect. If the effect is agreeable to us, what we will do? The decision is correct. If the result is not agreeable to us, then what is it? We analyze scenarios only based on what is agreeable, not agreeable. Because every decisions, every choice comes with the consequence. If the consequence is agreeable, the choice is correct. If the consequence is not agreeable, the choice is wrong. Dhoni, fortunately, he won the finals. He chose the other bowler instead of Harbhajan Singh. What a risk. Good that he won. I'm happy about it. But imagine if you would have, if that match would have been a loss. It lost, let's say, what would have happened to the career of him? The whole career is gone completely. You would have said, forget it, destroyed him. We wouldn't have had a personality called Dhoni himself today. Because of that victory, we were having it, celebrating. We never analyze the things at the time of taking a decision. At the time of taking a decision, we have to see what options are available. Of that particular choice that is being taken, is it appropriate or not? You see, now like that, we will never be able to read Ramayana or Rama. So when you read Rama, how you have to read? Read him, stop, forget about the rest of it, or go to a person, ask someone. There was a king, for whatever reason, because of some family scenario, because of the promise of the father, he has to go to exile for 14 years. He has to go. And his wife insisted that she would accompany him. At that point, what had happened? Suddenly, one day, she has been kidnapped. Now, what that fellow will do? Don't tell that person entire story of Ramayana and all that. Now, what is he going to do? What is option available for him? Option number 1 will be what? Search for her. If you find her, well and good. If you don't find her, wait for your 14 years, go back and tell the family, I took her. I don't know what happened to her. Maybe some animal would have killed her also. But then I got the information that somebody by name called Ravana kidnapped her and he has taken her. Where he has taken, where he has kept her, whether he has kept her or he has killed her, nothing we know. Rama doesn't know all that. Rama doesn't know that Ravana is interested in Sita, therefore he has abducted Sita. He doesn't know that. You see, as far as Rama is concerned, who is Ravana? Brother of the lady who these people cut her nose, cut her breast and chased her away because she came to kill Sita. So immediately what happened? This lady went and approached her cousin. Her cousins came with 10,000 Rakshasas. Came. One full battalion came. And Rama had to kill that entire battalion all alone. Single-handedly he had to finish. He finished. After that they were expecting. See, they are not going to keep quiet. You see, these guys. They will come back. When they were anticipating and waiting, suddenly he gets a news what Ravana has abducted Sita. Now is he going to think, even in his wildest imagination he is not going to think, Ravana fell in love with Sita, therefore he has abducted her to make her a queen. But Ravana says that. See, when Ravana comes, Ravana is just saying, I will take out Mandodari, make you queen. of Lanka. As far as Rama is concerned, he doesn't know all that. He knows only one thing. What? This is what has happened. His wife has been kidnapped by Ravana. Information given by Jatayu at the time of death. So there is always a good possibility that the person will speak the truth at the time of death. So there is no reason for Jatayu to lie. Now what is the option he has? What is he to do now? Go back, collect the Ayodhya army, go in search of where is Ravana. Even if he finds Ravana, there is no guarantee that he is going to get back his wife. Because they are known for eating humans. Right? They eat. They could have killed also. They have consumed. They could have done anything. We have no idea. Or maybe you would have simply killed her also. Not eaten, just killed her also. Who knows? He is in search. This is the backdrop. Now, at that point of time, he has no clue. And here you study Rama as a human. You take Rama as Avatara Purusha, then the whole analysis will be different. You can't mix up, remember. You can't mix up stands. So either you take Rama as a human and analyze and treat him as human, or treat Rama as Avatara Purusha and read and treat him right through as Avatara Purusha. So as Avatara Purusha, it's very easy for us to understand Rama. Why? Because you don't understand avatars. Anyway, they go overboard. So therefore, anything that goes overboard will say what? They are correct. You see, not that you understand avatar. It's not that. Avatars cannot be understood. Your intelligence is incapable of understanding the ways and means of the Avatara Purushas. Therefore, there is no way that you can connect to it. That is why we have these texts like Ramayana, Mahabharata and all that is given to us to explain in this, and particularly Rama's life comes very close, because right through Rama lived his life as human only. Hardly we see Rama posing himself as avatar. Krishna is not like that. Krishna gives him time and again, he keeps on proving himself to be suprahuman. He is not just a human, he is beyond human. He has proved it time and again. You see, Shishupala he kills in front of everyone. Suddenly Chakra comes to his hands. And suddenly he is, from sitting in Dwaraka, he is able to supply saris. He is not even present. Just by Draupadi calling his name, he is able to supply. And he is doing so many things. And to all those people, he had shown his Vishwarupa also. That's another classic about him. To anyone and everyone who asks, he will show his Vishwarupa darshan. And to everyone he will say, this is so special, and this is so special. And everyone believed also it is so special. You see, when imagine someone shows Vishwarupa darshan, now after that how will you look at that person? See, Rama has never done that. Right through Rama lived as Ramam, the Asharadatmajam, he says. I don't know about all that, man. I am Rama, son of Dasharatha. That's all I know. But as human, he had a tremendous qualities. Of the humans, if you had to pick up one human who is perfect, that is Rama. This is how all those people who have authored Ramayana had authored. You see, so the starting itself they have established. Right? What is Rama? That's why in Valmiki Ramayana also, it starts with the qualities, saying all extraordinary qualities. Can you find one man having all these qualities? It's almost impossible. You can never find. It's like the same person should be Einstein. Also, he should be a Dhirubhai Ambani. Also, he should be Sachin Tendulkar. And also, he is a Shakespeare. Also, Michael Jackson. How is it possible? If you are Einstein, you are Einstein. That's it. You can't be expecting Einstein to come and play like Messi. You know, Messi can't go and do study like him, nor both can go and write like Shakespeare. Now, what Valmiki was expecting is to have all these people together, because qualities we can understand. At least this we can understand. Like that he asks, to which Narada says, yes, there is a person. That is Rama. After establishing the greatness of Rama comes the story of Rama. Right? So when you are reading a story, you have to read that story in alignment with what? What the author of the story intended. You can't add anything to it, remember. You can't add things. If you want to write, you write your own story. That is fine. Right? But you can't you can't say I'm going to rewrite that story also. Right? You can't say I'm going to rewrite that story from this. Today that is a trend. This is the trend now. What is it, sir? I'm going to write story from Ravana's angle. Write a different story. Spin a story as that. But suddenly you can't try to make Ravana hero, Rama villain. That is not possible. You know, you don't have that right to do that. Isn't it? Now imagine Harry Potter. Who's that villain? Voldemort, huh? Voldemort, that villain. That character. Suddenly imagine the whole story is going to be told from that angle. I say, now J.K. Rowling is wrong. The way she had portrayed, Harry Potter to be a hero is not correct. And that hero's friend, that fellow, he is also not correct. He's, that girl is also not correct. None of them is correct. Who is correct then? The villain is a correct fellow. If I imagine I'm going to have a debate with her, what she will say? Excuse me, my dear, that is my story. If you wanted to write a story, you write a story. But Ishwaran doesn't have that market. J.K. Rowling has a market. Therefore, what do? Eat up her market. Same way, Rama has a market. Okay. Now, I don't have the capacity to produce something which is as good as Ramayana. So, what do I do now? And this we call as liberal thinking. Liberal thinking doesn't mean thinking anything and everything. There has to be a system. What is the system? Rule number 1. We are studying Ramayana when? After 8,000 years. Right. 70 years back, 50 years back, decisions taken. Today we are claiming what? Wrong. Today we say wrong. Maybe after 50 years, what we will say about current decision? Imagine about 200 years back when they invented steam engine. Right? What is that girl name? Greta, va? How dare you? Imagine it to that fellow if she would have went and told, how dare you touch the coal? How dare you touch the petrol? You shouldn't touch petrol. You shouldn't touch coal. You shouldn't touch any of these natural resources. If she would have been speaking these things then, what would be the reply of those people? Steam engine, train. They invented. How they got it? Steam only, no. Natural resources, no. All these cars and all this development, all that we are having today, all the luxuries that we are experiencing today, enjoying today is all what? Standing on top of this, all of us will say what? My God, what is the negative impact of this? Oh my God, we never realized. The biggest contributor for the ozone is the gas from the refrigerator, he says. The gas that we are using in the refrigerator is the reason for a hole in ozone layer. And today that is causing tremendous problem. So what are we supposed to do now? Today we say that. But yesterday that was considered as what? Oh, what a greatest invention. Tremendous invention it is. But today we have invented something. What is it? Cloud. I say, what is in cloud? I say, cloud is already there. Where is it? First time when I heard that, I couldn't understand. Cloud storage. I said, what you are going to store in the cloud? I said, after rain, what will happen? All my data will get erased or what? Today it looks like what for all of us? As something wonderful. Is the same thing experienced by those people about 200 years back, 100 years back. Today we are claiming that as wrong. But today we believe these decisions, whatever we are taking to be correct decision. This is how it should be. This is the right thing. Now who should acknowledge this? Who should say this is correct? You should interview people after 100 years. Right? After 100 years, that fellow will say what? Yesterday's decision is a better decision than our today's decisions. Standards will vary, number one. Number two, when you are reading a story, you should never read a story after the consequence. The decisions, the choices should be studied at the time when it is taken. So from there you have to start. From there, when you start, first thing we ask is why Rama has to align himself, find alliance with Sugriva. Why he chose Sugriva over Vali? Because nowhere we have in the records that Rama has knowledge of both Sugriva or Vali. Whereas Vali had the knowledge of Rama. Sugriva didn't know about Rama. Vali knew about Rama, what has happened to him, what he did, because by then it is about 13 years over. 13 years of exile. So in 13 years of, means 13 years back Rama had left Ayodhya. Right. So the news had spread. That news has reached to Kichkinda, and Vali being a king, he had the knowledge of Rama. Not only he had the knowledge, Vali's wife Tara also had the knowledge of Rama. And she had a fantastic spice, because Vali didn't get the information that Rama had developed a friendship with Sugriva. But Tara knew. Tara got the information. So imagine Kishkinda is not just, monkeys, please. Everything are monkeys. Vanara is not monkey. They are a different species altogether. You see, but as far as we are concerned, we just call we just portray them as monkeys. I say, okay, monkeys, forget it. But strictly speaking, it is not. You can't just treat them like, what we see today as monkeys. What you see as monkey is not the Vanaras. Sugriva didn't know about Rama. Rama didn't know about Sugriva. But Vali had the knowledge of Rama. Vali knew. But Rama doesn't know. When you don't know and you want to get back your wife, what is the first thing needed? To find a location. And if he has to go and fight with Ravana, he needs a direction where he would have hit Sita. So he has to go. What to do now? That is where Rama meets two personalities. Suddenly when Rama and Lakshmana, when they are walking, they see one demon with two hands running to few kilometers. His hands were so huge, he's so powerful he was. And finally, these two brothers have to kill that fellow, the demon. And the demon takes a form, and the demon requests, see, you cannot kill me like this. The only way you can kill me is dig a pit and put me inside and close it. That's the only way I can die. There's no other way. But I will never allow you to do that. You will never get a chance. If you can do that, do it. So one brother would fight with him, another brother will dig. Then this fellow will go and fight with him, another brother would dig. So they had a fantastic coordination between the two. They dug and they killed him. Suddenly they saw out of that pit emerged one divine being, claiming himself to be a Gandharva by name Kabandhan. He emerged. He blessed those two. I've been cursed by a sage. And he has told that two brothers will come and they will kill you. When you die in their hands, you will get the redemption. So that's the only solution for you. Now that you have killed me, I pay my respects to you, and I wanted to pay back for this. So I will help you. Now I know that you have lost your wife and you are searching for Sita. Go and get alliance with Sugriva. There's a fellow called Sugriva. Go and meet him. He will help you. And that fellow went. Then these people go. As they are coming in search, now their search has started in the direction of what? Not of Sita. Now these two have started searching for two now. Sita and Sugriva. Right. As they were coming, they find another lady. One of the most, touching, very emotional thing in Ramayana. That old lady by name Sabari. She is waiting for Rama because her guru Matanga, Rishi, he ascended to heavens. She also wanted to go with him. When she was about to come, Matanga Rishi has told her, no, you wait here. Rama will come because he will come in this direction. When he comes, you serve him and then you can come. From that day onwards, this lady had been waiting. God only knows how many years. And the descriptions in Ramayana is classic scene that is. Very, very emotional. Yeah. And she comes and Rama and Lakshmana come to that place and they see that Sabari and she feeds them. After that, Indra sends a flight and she gets to get onto the flight and go to heaven. As she is about to ascend to heaven, she also tells Rama and Lakshmana that, there is a place here. That is where this fellow is, moving around by name Sugriva. Rama has not told Sabari that he is searching for Sugriva as directed by Kabandhan. So, two independent sources, two independent divine personalities were directing Rama to go in search of Sugriva. This is the story. Now we go back to the principle. If you have to take a course of action in life, action can be done only based on certain understanding you have. For understanding purpose, there are four means of gaining knowledge, gaining understanding. Four pramanas are there: Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Agama. These are the four pramanas. Pratyaksha, direct perception. Anumana, inference. Upamana, comparison. Agama, tradition. Or Shabda. Few people use the word Shabda also for that. Now, Rama has no possibility of making a choice based on Pratyaksha. There is no possibility of inference also. Nor there is a possibility of comparison. He has to rely only on what? On the words of some authoritative personalities. Remember, Rama is a human. right in front of his eyes, he sees one Rakshasa turning himself, one demon, turning into a divine being. And that divine being ascending to heaven is directing him to Sugriva. And totally independent source, Sabari, is such an ordinary person, such an ordinary, innocent, ignorant, whatever you call, personality, and such an elderly personality who is also ascending to heaven. As she is going, she is giving direction to him. This is called Agama. Shabda Pramana. See, now Rama has to rely only on what? Agama Pramana. On what basis Rama chooses Sugriva? It is not Rama choosing Sugriva. Rama was directed by these people to seek Sugriva, and why Rama followed them? That is the principle. Principle of what? Principle of Agama, tradition. Tradition doesn't mean don't take it immediately old one. Not in that sense. You see, wherever you see a qualitative, authoritative personality in a particular field where to say something, you take it as truth. Exactly like when the doctor says, this is what the problem is. Now you can take the CT scan. Now what you will understand? You take a CT scan of your brain. What do you understand in that? Vanjana mean da. There's a particular type of fish, when it dried, it will look like that. All that, will be fixed there. It's a picture of that. You will not understand anything. When he looks at that and says, you have this problem, you take it as what? You take it as fact, right? On what basis? Inference. Direct perception. Pratyaksha is there, no? Pratyaksha Pramana you can take. What is it? You see that, CT scan. And he will point also. He will point out to that and explain to you. Even then what happens to you? Nothing. Can you infer? You can't infer. Can you compare? Can you take 2 CT scans and compare? You cannot. Therefore, first 3 not available. Then you have to rely only on tradition. Shabda Pramana. Words spoken by those who are authority in that particular field. Those who are superior to you. Now here Rama is standing as human. He sees these people ascending to heaven right in front of his eyes. Right? And they are directing to him. Obviously he has to take them as what? Authority. Obviously he will take them as authorities. And when you are not having the first 3, you have to rely on the Shabda Pramana only. Therefore, Rama goes in search of Sugriva. He is following the rules. He is not breaking any rules here. Right? Because there are a lot of people have this. I don't know why Rama chose Bali against Sugriva. Bali would have been a better alliance. No. Bali is better. They say of course Bali is better. Who says Bali is not better? But on what basis Rama will choose him? There is no basis. You see, the basis here is this one. Then we have the second scenario. Then Rama comes. Sugriva he is meeting. And he is meeting Sugriva. Sugriva is telling Rama, this is what has happened between me and Bali. And Bali has chased me away. Now I am hiding myself and living here like this. So Rama says, okay, go. If I move out of this place, he will kill me. So I am living only because he will not enter into this peak. So I am staying here. Rama says, okay, go and call Vali for fight. I will kill him. You don't worry. Now they go and the first fight happens. In the first fight, what has happened? Sugriva is waiting for Rama to shoot the arrow and kill Vali, and this fellow is not shooting. Right? And he knows he is hiding behind. He knows he is there, but he is not shooting. And black and blue was beaten, and a fellow escapes from Vali and runs away again. And Rama and Lakshmana, Hanuman, others, they all go in search of Sugriva now. And they see him sitting in that cave, crying, Rama, what is this? Right? You told me to go and call him for fight. Otherwise, I would have been simply sitting here. Unnecessarily, I went there. Look at my condition. To which Rama gives a reply. See, I am not able to distinguish who is Vali, who is Sugriva. That confusion, Rama. I can't understand what is the confusion. Can you imagine Rama actually being confused? Okay, imagine there are two fighting, right? Again, go back to the basic one. What is a Pratyaksha Pramana? Pratyaksha Pramana is not there. I'm so confused. Then you can infer, no? Inference. What is inference? The fellow who is hitting is Vali, and the fellow who is getting beaten up is Sugriva. Simple. Or he could have asked for a opinion. Agama Pramana. What is Agama Pramana? Hanuman knows both Vali and Sugriva, and the fellow standing next to him. Either he could have clarified, hey, who is Vali, man? I'm very confused. Tell me. And Hanuman would have, told him. Clearly he would have told who is that, and then he could have used these two, Anumana and Agama, and arrive at a conclusion and shoot that fellow. Problem solved. Why he did? And he gives such a lame excuse. It is a lame excuse only. It's not a logical excuse. But then, is it correct? Is this what Rama really meant? Because if we can understand this, if we have a solution to that confusion, you mean to say Rama wouldn't have been able to get it? We are so smarter than Rama, isn't it? Wow. Oh, we are all brilliant people. Rama is an idiot, He doesn't know all that. Simple thing. This logic itself, if Rama doesn't know. A fellow who has been tutored by Vasishtha himself, and then who has been trained by Vishwamitra, and the fellow who broke that this one, and he subdued Parashurama, all that mighty fellow can't understand this much. Remember, no, there is a far, far subtler thing there. The contention of Sugriva against Vali is what? The case is, if I escape from here, Rishyamukha, if I move out of this Rishyamukha, Vali will kill me. That is why I have hidden myself here. I cannot come out. I can sympathize with you, Rama, to go in search of your wife. Sita, I will help you. I will also come. But I cannot come out of this place. Why? If I come outside, Vali has kept spies all over, waiting for the information of my moving. It's almost I am house arrested. Hidden. I come outside. If I come to the terrace is enough, I'll be killed. So I have to be where? Bunker. They have, like that I am. And Rama, he has also had brothers, right? He has been an elder brother. He has seen what is to be with brothers. He could not imagine and visualize a possibility where how much ever you can have anger with your own brother, will you go to the extent of killing him? He couldn't believe that possibility. But Sugriva claims, Vali will kill me. So, when these two fellows are fighting, what is Rama observing? There is a difference between hitting a person to break their bones, hitting someone to kill them. Rama, being such an expert in the warfare, he knows. He could not see Vali attempting to kill Sugriva. It looks like Vali is getting a pleasure of hitting this fellow. It's like, two kids, when the elder one, the younger one, they fight. From Rama's perspective, it looked like that only. Now, he can't tell that to Sugriva. If he tells that to Sugriva, what will happen? So, Rama, you mean to say that I am lying to you? Not possible. So, what to do? Therefore, Rama comes up with such a lame excuse, which is lame, everybody knows, but nobody knows how to counter. You see, no one can counter with him. That's about it. But one thing for sure, what? Everybody has understood this is not the real reason. If that's not the real reason, then what is the real reason? The reason is, being a brother, he could not believe. Nor can he call Vali and ask him, hey, are you trying to kill him? What Vali will say? Hey Baba, what do you mean? My brother, man. Why will I kill him? Of course, I was angry. Of course, obviously, will you not get angry? Rama says, see, that is why Rama, you are different, I am different. You will not get angry, but I will get angry. That's it. But I was not planning to kill him or anything. He will say. And Sugriva also will. Now, there is no other option. Therefore, what he has to do, what? Wait till a confirmation. Rama has to get a confirmation that Vali is actually is going to kill Sugriva. If he is not going to be getting that confirmation, it would not be appropriate for Rama to kill Vali. That's not correct. Therefore, Rama did not kill or even attempt to kill Vali in the first fight between Sugriva and Vali. And then somehow they convinced. And to which they gave some stupid one also. That's why, it's so interesting to see. Now what you do is, you go with one garland. See, they are not fighting like, in the video game fight. Both the fellows are doing wrestling. In a wrestling, what would have happened to the garland? Huh? It's a flower garland. That also they specify. Hanuman goes, picks up flowers. He has told him, go and get these flowers. So he goes and gets these two, 3 flowers. It's a flower garland. Sugriva go. First thing Vali would have done what? Huh? A garland in a car. One whack if he gives, that garland is gone. After that, back to square one. What? You can't distinguish, because what is going to distinguish? Only the garland. The garland is gone. Now what to do? Fascinating. That's how we identify. This is how we study. Say, how can he give this as a reason? And then people draw also pictures. The Vali would be lying down, Sugriva standing there with the garland intact. Right? Which means they never had a fight or what? In the fight, first thing will go is what? The garland. Therefore, what is it, sir? No, there is something else he wants. What does he want? The actual case of Sugriva, the fear of Sugriva, and why he is scared, why he is living here is because Vali will kill him. Which means there has been an attempt on Sugriva's life by Vali. That is how we identify. This is how you reason. When you study, you should reason like this. Then comes another one. I don't know, in last class I had referred few things, but I forgot. Right, what all I referred. I know, a few things I referred, I remember. Vaguely, but I said few things, but not and all I don't remember. See. The other one we find is the standard question. Now, this is, why he is hiding behind a tree and shooting. And to which we have to see the sequence. See, the sequence of event. Sequence of event is what? He is there, these two fellows are fighting, Rama is standing there and he is shooting. First, there are texts where there's ample proofs have been given that Rama was not actually hiding. He was standing at a distance and watching. You see, so it's not that he was hiding, waiting for him and all that. It's not like how we imagine today. He was standing there. That's about it. Oh my God! I have told you people, but I have not switched off. Good that no one called me. So there are things they say it is not hidden and all this, because from Valmiki Ramayana there is an edition, the very old edition they have, but subsequently we have this popular idea of doing it. Now we say why he has to do. We see this from philosophical angle. See, philosophically speaking, when it comes to philosophy, we immediately don't take personality, situations and all those things. We immediately go to the character and the qualities that is represented by that character. You see, say for example, the moment I say Kapil Dev, what comes to all of you? He is an all-rounder cricketer, right? But he plays golf also. But you never get the thought of Kapil Dev, who is a golf player. He plays golf as well. But that's not comes to you. What comes to you is what? Cricketer. Same way, the moment we say a particular character, that particular character, immediate thought association is one. Reference is one. So philosophically, when we are seeing, Vali is a representation of lust. Right? Now, that lust has taken over that kingdom and trying to destroy, kill Sugriva. The little goodness that is there in you, plus your entire personality. The kingdom represents the personality, and the goodness is being chased away from that. So it has taken over that entire personality, captured that entire personality, and little goodness that you have is being chased away. The mind has some good qualities, no? Isn't it? Sugriva represents the mind, that mind having a good qualities of the mind. So Kishkinda kingdom represents what? Your entire personality. And the mind having few goodness, little goodness is Sugriva, which chased away because the moment lust takes over, the lust for anything, it need not be only for opposite sex or anything, please. It could be for anything, any desire. When it is takes over the personality, what happens? This is what will happen. That will constantly be hunting and trying to destroy the leftover little goodness that you have also in you. That's what it will do. So that needs to be handled by your intellect, which is represented by Rama. So the knowledge, your buddhi, your jnana, your vairagya, whatever you call now, you can use any words you want. That needs to come and rescue, for which the little goodness should surrender to that intellect and say, you help me, you assist. So with the assistance of the buddhi, of the intellect, you have to handle the lust. Now, that buddhi cannot be handling lust directly by itself. That buddhi has to derive its power from the Shastras, from the scriptures. From the knowledge of the scriptures, that buddhi extracts and then attacks the things. This is represented by the tree. The tree where Rama is supposed to be heading behind is what? Now, is again a representation of what? Of the Shastras. So, when that intellect uses that Shastra, hides behind the Shastras, derives its things, from there it attacks. From the surrendering to the Shastras, when it deals with the lust, you can destroy the lust. Otherwise, not possible. If intellect were to try to deal with the lust directly, it is not possible. Direct application of your thinking. Because your lust has a very many ways of overpowering it, which is again represented by a special boon of Vali. What is a boon of Vali? Anybody who comes in front of him, he will take half the strength. Right. Now Rama need not have that fear. This why? Rama's strength is infinite. Half of infinite is what? Infinite only. Nothing is going to happen to him. You see. So it's not out of because of this, many people have this, thinking that, Vali had this, that, he was given a mala, and if he comes with that mala, of the strength of the opponent will come to him. All that is all not there in the original story. Original story doesn't have that. All this came subsequently with the versions. You see, original doesn't say anything about it. So here we see lust having that power is represented, that power is what is given as the boon here. What is the power of the lust? The moment you try to attack, immediately it will become more powerful. You can see that. Those who have attempted a little to handle their desires will understand it. Those who have never attempted this will never understand what we are talking about. If you have never attempted to handle any of your weaknesses, the moment, a simple thing, the day you say that I am going to do fasting, right? Only on that day you will feel more hungry. If you in the normal days you will never get that hunger. The day you say, tomorrow is Ekadashi, so I'm going to fast. I'm going to start fasting Ekadashi for, throughout this year. So what I'm going to do now? Ekadashi tomorrow. Your hunger will start from today itself. Otherwise you will not feel hungry. This is what is meant by Vali having that boon. The moment you try to attempt to weed off your weaknesses, instantly the weaknesses will swallow the strength of your conviction. This is philosophical. Okay, one. Second angle is there. Second one is where we say, okay, we don't go into all this, meaning of what is Vali, what is this and all this. Now we come to the devotional dimension. First one is intellectual, purely spiritual there, philosophical. Second one is more of devotional in nature. In the devotional thing, Rama avatar itself came in for what? You have to go to the source. Why Rama avatar? Why he wants to kill Ravana?
Because of the Dwarapalakas.
That is independent problem of his. But that is not the story. Story says what? All these devas go to Vishnu and say, sir, this Ravana, all other Rakshasas, Asuras and all those fellows do tapas. Either Brahma will give boon or Shiva will give boon. This Ravana fellow has got boon from both the fellows. Of the Trimurtis, there are three gods, no? Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. These three. Now Ravana has done tapas and he got boon from Brahma, and he sang songs in praise of Lord Shiva, and Shiva also gave him boons. Shiva has given boon and Brahma has, imagine, one fellow giving boon itself, they cause so much of pain. This guy has got from two. Majority wins. Imagine, of the three trinities, two of them have supported Ravana. What atrocities the fellow will do. And they couldn't manage the pain of Ravana. So they go to Vishnu. To which Vishnu said, okay, I will come as a human, because he has taken in his boon, one mistake the fellow has made is he has not included human beings. So I will come as human and live as human, only then I can kill him. So I will come as human being. So the moment when he, Vishnu agreed to come as human, immediately Brahma said, look here, when Vishnu himself is becoming like human, right? Imagine, from Vaikunta he has to come to Bhuloka and live as a human being. It's like you have to go and live in Dharavi for another 25 years. Or of course he lived here for 11,000 years, they say, as per Ramayana. Imagine in Dharavi you have to spend your entire life. After living a sophistication of, what is that house? Mukesh Ambani's house, no? Imagine Mukesh Ambani should live in that, what is that? That Dharavi is, no? That slum in Bombay. Bombay only. But only thing is what? From here you have to shift there and live now. And this man says, I am doing it for the welfare of somebody else. See, at least if he says, I am coming down for Dharavi's sake, he can understand. But whereas human beings did not go and approach Vishnu and say, my God, this guy is torturing us, man, please come and help us. No. Who went? Devas went. So those fellows, it's like in Europe, in the Netherlands, people have a problem. They approached Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani says what? I'm going to live in Dharavi for another 50 years now. I mean, not as Mukesh Ambani, like those people. How much? Immediately this Brahma said, idiots. He is descending from Vaikunta to Bhuloga. And that too not as some divine being or anything like that. He is going to be living as human being there. You idiots. You also should go. He is going for your cause only, no? You guys go and help him. They said, what help we can do? That's where Brahma said, look here, he has skipped not only humans, he has skipped one more specimens. What is it? Vanaras also. Rama is going to take birth as human. So what you guys have to do now? You all take birth as Vanaras. Immediately all agreed. Correct. We will go and help Rama now. Then each one started saying, I will take birth, I will take birth, I will take birth, this. Then Indra immediately said, I will take birth as Vali. And Surya immediately said, I will take birth as Sugriva and be his brother. And then each one said, all those people have started giving their portfolios. Everyone said, I will take birth as this, I will take birth as this. All that list is there. In that list, Indra is the first one to acknowledge. So, Vishnu came to earth as human to help Indra. Right? So, Indra also came as Vali for what? To destroy Ravana with the help of Rama. So, he has come. He should be waiting. Rama said, first you guys go, I will come later. The hero entry cannot be in the first scene, no. Hero will enter little later. So, he said, after 2-3 scenes, I will enter. He said. So, first these guys have to come. When this fellow Vali, when he reached here, when Indra came as Vali here, instead of waiting for Rama to come, this fellow, in a hurry, he went and had a friendship, alliance with Ravana. Vali became a friend of Ravana now. Now Rama comes. Vishnu taken birth as Rama and he is suffering this one, that one and all that. And he comes, when he comes and hears the story, what is the scene now? For this fellow I have come from there to here, and what this guy has done now? Right? Now what to do? First thing to be done is what? Kill that guy. I don't even want to meet that fellow. Isn't it? This is a natural one, no? First thing you will say what? No, let me go and speak to him. He will wake up, he will do nothing of that sort. There, finish him first. First thing you have to do is what? Take out Vali. Who has done a greater crime? Between Ravana and Vali, whose crime is more heinous? Rama says Vali's is more. Why? The very purpose he is defeating. Same side goal. He's putting same side goal. How he will allow? He says, take him out first of the team. Then let us go and fight with Ravana. So first thing, he says what? This guy is not. So Rama doesn't even want to meet Vali, encounter him. If from the backstage you pull him out, you will not come on to the front. This is the second one. There we have Rama killing Vali, hiding behind a tree. Now comes the third one. Now we are not discussing philosophical, nor are we discussing from the epic or this devotional aspect and all those things. Not as avatar and all those things. Now we are coming back to our basic rule of what Rama is a character, right? And Vali had the information, knowledge of Rama, and Vali had a great regards and respect to Rama. Dasharatha, Rama and all those people, he had a very high regards. And for Rama, he had a special place. Because before the fight between Sugriva and Vali, second fight, Tara wants. She says, I got the information that he has got pact with Rama. Rama has come to help him. To which Vali says, shut up. What do you know about Rama? You know how great he is? He gave up his kingdom happily for his brother. Such a fellow. Will he interfere with brothers' fight and all that? He is not going to come into all these things. But then Rama comes, shoots. The fight happens. He is about to kill Sugriva. That is the time he shot an arrow. Arrow pierced him. The fellow fell. The great Vali fell. And he is surprised. How on earth one arrow can just pierce my body and go in? Impossible. And he pulls that and he sees, in those days, every arrow will have their name engrossed, embedded in that. Rama, he sees. It's a shock, and that is the time Rama comes and stands in front of Vali.